And I will also share, we have an agenda for this meeting, which is now pasted in the chat. And I'll share my screen as well, so we can all follow along with that. I'm having trouble sharing my screen. I might have that classic Zoom problem. I'll get that resolved for next time. How about I would have to restart Zoom, which is going to waste some time here. So I'll paste the agenda topics. There are not very many of them. I'll actually paste that straight into the chat here so that we'll have it handy as an alternative to keep going here. So before we jump into the topics, though, I just thought it might be good for us all to introduce ourselves and say a little bit about our interest in this brand new sub-project, which, by the way, welcome. Thank you for coming to our first meeting. This is very exciting. My name is Katrina. My pronouns are she, her, and I work for Shopify, and my interest in the KRM function sub-project is primarily through Kustomize, of which I am a maintainer. How about Eddie? Can you go next and then tag somebody to go after?
Sure. Hi, I'm Eddie Zaneski. I work for Amazon Web Services. My pronouns are he, him, and I am here to support you on your first meeting, Katrina. And I will tag Natasha to go next.
Hi, my name is Natasha. I work for Google, and I'm a maintainer of Kustomize. I have also worked on Kept in the past. Yeah, I will tag Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin Santa Barbara. I also work at Google. I am not a maintainer of Kept or Kustomize, but I am interested in KRM functions and making sure that they work everywhere in both Kept, Kustomize, and hopefully throughout the ecosystem. I will tag Yuen, who is on my screen.
Hi, I'm Yuen. I also work for Google. I'm not working that close to
Uh-oh, I think we lost you. Oh no.
Should I return to Yuen? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, let's return to Yuen when she comes back. Manchi, do you want to go?
Sure. So hello everyone, I'm Mengqi. So I also work at Google. So I'm a maintainer of the CAP project, and I also contribute to the KYAML packages. Yeah. Next, Ross.
Sorry, I lost audio. Did you call me?
Yes.
Okay. So, yep, I'm Ross. I work at Red Hat, and I am helping to contribute to kubectl and the other CLI tools. Malala, is that how you pronounce it? I think it's the last one.
Maybe we've lost Phil as well. Either you or Yuan comes back. Oh, Yuan's back.
Did you receive a message? I said tag Mengqi.
Yes, well, that's what happened anyway, but we lost you halfway through your intro.
Yeah, shall I do it again? I'm Yuan. I'm also working on Google, and I want to work more close on Kustomize, and I'm super interested in the KRM functions. Yeah, that's me.
Great, thanks. All right, so I think we can get started with our agenda.
Sorry, I think we have one more people. One more person. You allowed?
Yeah, we called on them and they didn't unmute, so I assume they might have a connection problem as well, but please feel free to jump in. Oh,
Hello. Yeah, I'm sorry, Katrina. I didn't hear the message. I'm Bilal. I work at WorkX, and I'm basically very new to Go and Kubernetes, and I'm contributing a little, like whatever I can to customize and hopefully to this new project as well.
great. Welcome. Okay, so the first topic that I have in the agenda here is just a quick mention that the SIG CLI maintainer track session CFP is open. And as part of that, the SIG leads were talking about potentially highlighting this subproject because it's new. We should tell folks what we're all about and what KRM functions are and why we think they're really cool and folks should use them. So just wanted to put that out there and say if you're interested in participating in that session to represent this group. Obviously we're super new and we're still getting started, but I think it would be a great opportunity for us to participate in that session in May, and by then we'll probably have more concrete things to add. So please reach out to me if you would be interested in, if you're attending KubeCon and interested in co-presenting that session as part of the maintainers track. The second thing is I just wanted to do a quick check-in that this time and cadence is still going to make sense for everyone. We had picked it based on a little survey that we did, but it was a couple months ago. So rather than just assuming, I wanted to make sure that everyone here is going to continue to be okay with this time and that no one else who is a key collaborator from your respective companies was categorically unable to make it now. Hearing no objections, we'll keep the same time, but please reach out to me if that ends up being a problem. All right, so next on the agenda, we have function authoring improvement, which is a PR. The link didn't carry through, so I will paste that in here. And it's Munchie, you put this on the agenda, so would you like to speak to it, please?
Sure, yeah. So this is improvement to the existing function authoring, which is using the KYAML. So currently, we have seen a couple of limitations of the existing SDK. Like the first of all is that it has a very big surface and can be hard to navigate, especially for new peoples. So this improvement, in this improvement, we want to like provide some like more generic interface that like people can use it to accomplish like 90% use case when they writing functions. So I have discussed this with Katrina before. So initially this PR was like writing in a separate package, but after discussing with Katrina, so we want to have it in the existing package. So I kind of like refactored the previous iterations, and so right now they are in the KYAML/fn/framework package and also the KYAML/YAML package. And there are two things I want to point out in this package, in this service. So so it introduced a new thing called kube object. So we want to use it to represent the KRM resource instead of using R-node as the interface for user to interact with. So because we found that R-node is like more likely to be like lower level abstractions. So it like expose some low level YAMLs implementation details, and sometimes it's not easy for user to understand. So this PRC introduced a new abstraction called KubeObject, and it provides some functions like get and set. So which when user want to mutate a field or get a field, they can just use that. Can be very handy. And so in the PRs, there are Go-doc links, and you can find it. There are some examples there. Yeah, please take a look and give me feedback if any.
Quick question about the cube object thing in particular, since you mentioned that one. You mentioned that it provides accessors for looking at fields directly inside the YAML to sort of help you dig through it. And that is something that our node does already. It doesn't have a generic one to access any arbitrary field using like a JSON path notation, but it does have a bunch of specific ones based on awareness of like the structure of metadata in particular, since that's consistent across all KRM objects. So I'm wondering why we have or what's the main difference between our node and the new abstraction in terms of functionality, given that our node does already do that sort of thing, like help you dig through YAML.
Yeah, so for the cube object, is in the implementation, it's actually backed by the R node. But so for R node, so it currently provides something like some helper functions like get API version, get kind, get namespace. But sometimes because when you look at the YAML tree, so every node is a R node. It can be a matching node or like a sequence node or a scalar node. But like every node, you can call that get namespace functions, and it doesn't always make sense. So it only makes sense when it's like a root level object. So in this case, the cube object represents like a top level KRM resource, and then user can like use this convenience of helper functions to access that. And this had some R node low level details, which we have get some user feedback that user found sometimes it's confusing and not intuitive, the R node. And also, in my opinions, the R node, the helper functions like get namespace and get API version, this thing, I think we should move it to the cube object. So the R node should only provide the lower level helper stuff. So that's my idea.
Interesting. Our node is used extensively by Kustomize directly as well. So if we were to move those, that would be something to dig into in advance, see if that would make sense.
Oh, I doesn't mean to have Kustomize to move away from R node or anything like that. I mean, like for the like customized maintainers or like type maintainers, like we have a lot of experience dealing with our node. So like we may find that, oh, it's not that hard, but from the conversation with some function developers, they don't think that way. I think like object can probably provide a easier way to dealing with this object. And so I think the plan currently in my head is that, so for customize the implementation details, we can still use our node, since like it using our node, it doesn't cause a problem for us since we are familiar with that. But for function authors, developers, I think we can suggest them to use the new abstractions, which have a simpler interface and a much smaller surface for them to like navigate. So currently, for example, when dealing with cube objects, the user mostly can just use get and set and do almost all the job. But if a user need to learn R node, then there are like 30-ish method they need to go in like through one by one. And that's not easy for the function authors. And in most time, they don't really care a whole lot about the low-level YAML.
Right. I guess the situation that I want to avoid is that we create a new object just because we want to have fewer methods on it. And then over time, we need to add those methods back as people say, well, it would be more convenient if we have this one. It would be more convenient if we had that one. So if it would be a solution to add the generic setter to the R node and just have the documentation and all our guides and everything and all the examples, use that so that we're promoting the easy way, then maybe that would be worth considering. But I definitely want to take a look at your PR. That sounds really interesting, and really excited to improve the SDK.
Yeah, and also I heard a lot that people think R node is really a bad name. They like looking at that, they don't understand what is this. And there's also Y node, and the people are also very confused with R node, what's Y node.
Naming's hard. Yeah. Is there any other particular points you want to highlight from your PR?
So as I mentioned, so one of the key thing is the cube object, and also there's a resource list has been like rebased to use cube object as the as its individual entries in the list. Yeah, and also the resource list has we have added some additional method to make it more easy to use. Yeah, and I'm also planning to add some like side-by-side comparisons when using the old R, like the R node method, comparing using the new interface. Like I'm working on that. So that hopefully can give users, like give folks more understanding about the before versus after.
Sounds good. Anyone else have some comments? I feel like I was talking a lot during that discussion, so I want to open up the floor to other comments before we move on to the next topic. Okay, hearing nothing, the next topic is also yours, Munchi, KRM function registry work list.
Yeah, so in the doc, I linked it to a GitHub issue. So I will post the.
Yeah, I just pasted in the chat.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so in this issue, I listed a list of work we want to do in the registry repos. So we have created a cap before, so to describe our plan, and then so in this issue, I just listed the concrete work we want to accomplish. So in there are two phases. In phase one, we want to focus on supporting containers as our as the function runtime, and in phase two, we want to support exec as function runtime. Since Customize have plans to use that, yeah, and one dive into phase one task. So we have a plan to first have a entry functions, the render Helm chart thing. So Natasha is working on that. So this going to replace the existing customized Helm functionalities. And then next we are going to set up the infrastructure for the registry repos, like CI for the entry functions and the release pipeline for the entry functions, and also CIs to for both entry and out of tree functions. For example, verifying the metadata is compliant with our schema, and also we should provide a template for each publishers, and then we need to support the workflow, like how a user can contribute new out of tree functions, what are the steps, and then also the workflow of a publisher can snapshot their functions and create a group of functions as a catalog. And also the website, we are going to have a website. This website will be an interface that user can browse and interact with, and it should be able to serve both the dynamic aggregated catalog by publisher, also the static snapshotted catalog published by the publisher. And for phase two, I don't prepare the list yet. We can do that when we are almost done with phase one, I guess. So does this sound like a reasonable list? Any comment?
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me. I love the idea of doing the Helm chart one as a first kind of like proof of concept, because that one is going to be super useful to have community hosted version of. So I'm really excited about having that. And once we have the publishing infrastructure, like I'm glad you put that toward the beginning as well, because that will allow our consumers to start prototyping their side of things in terms of catalog consumption and consuming just the functions themselves that we are publishing from our new source. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and we have seen like some user requests interest to contribute, even
Great.
though we don't have the repo set up yet.
That's really good to hear. Should we have a way for folks to get in touch with us? Like, should we be creating a Slack channel as well for this group, or direct them just to the SIG CLI, do you think?
So I think like a separate Slack channel would be good. Yeah, if reusing the SIG CLI channel, it may be causing a lot of noise when like some folks may not really super interested in it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Eddie, do you happen to know what's involved in getting a new public Slack channel for a sub-project?
I do not.
I will try to figure that out and get that done soon. Let me make myself a note.
And should we also create a mailing list for the sub-project?
Sure, it's a good idea. I don't know, maybe Eddie, I'm gonna ask you again. Do you know how difficult it is to get mailing lists?
Mailing lists are a PR. That one's easy.
Okay.
It looks like Slack is also a PR. I found where Justin beat me to it.
Excellent.
You're busy pasting and not talking. I beat you.
All right, that seems easy enough. Yeah, so we can definitely do that. I'll put that as an action item for myself personally. Is there anything else that the folks in this group can do to support your list of action items there? Do you have any particular thing you want help with, or just more of a, this is the plan,
yeah,
we all agree?
Yeah, I think Natasha has mentioned before she can help with some of these tasks. And if anyone want to like jump in and help with some of these tasks, just let us know. That you can ping me on Slack.
All right, so ping you directly on Slack to get involved immediately, and then I'll try to get that channel set up so that we can do it there all together in the future.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, the last thing that we have on the agenda is stand-ups for the, I oriented that by KEP basically, since we are a sub-project, obviously. So here's what I have in the agenda. Functions registry is what we were just talking about. So I guess, is there anything else to mention besides the plan in terms of progress and what is on the roadmap for the next 2 weeks?
So for the function registry, for next week, I think we will try to first get the render Helm chart function in the repo, and then the CI infrastructure for the in-tree functions and the release pipeline. I guess that's pretty much for 2 weeks. Yeah. Hopefully we can achieve this rate.
Sounds good. For composition, which is not exactly KRM function related, but it's part of the set of KEPs that we made. basically a way for customized specifically to consume KRM functions better. That I made some good progress last month, where there's a sort of meta PR that shows what the implementation would look like. But there are some significant blockers to actually merging it on the customized side that have to do with sort of internal customized architecture. Most of Customize is designed to be used as transformers and can actually be already, like you can, instead of using any particular field, you can use a full transformer config for it, which is key to this approach. But there are some very important fields for which that is not true, notably the generator fields themselves, which due to an implementation to detail of Go plugins, which is how they're built, they are not allowed in the transformers field currently, which is problem number one. And problem number two is the resources field itself, which is in a way the main generator, is not even implemented as a generator at all. It's not implemented as a plugin. It's baked into the API module in a way that would need to be extracted if we were taking a pure functions approach in the composition. So you want to be able to have a kind resources essentially, and that's not possible today. So those are the main things that are preventing that PR from moving forward. Essentially, all that work has to be done. Otherwise, we can put a scaffolding in there and it technically works and is internally consistent, but it's not very useful because there's not really all that much you can do to kickstart that pipeline with some actual resources to transform. So that's the update on the composition side. I'm not working on it in the next 2 weeks, to be honest, but I will be circling back to that at some point. It's on the customized roadmap. And catalog is the last one, which is Jeremy's KEP. Jeremy was going to be joining us around now, but since he's not here, is there anything else anyone else would like to discuss? I'll ping him on Slack and see if he can still make it. The catalog is going to be a really important piece, especially of the customized integration. We have the KEPs really emphasized how it can be used to do authorization for bundles of plugins as well, to provide a better strategy and sort of decouple the end user configuration of the plugins from the specification of which controller implements them. So it's a very important part of the proposal, and hopefully we'll make some progress on that one soon. Jeremy had a conflict with another SIG meeting, but only this time, and in future meetings it won't be a problem. So I'll invite him to the Slack channel and we can get the update on catalog from them. So hearing no other topics, I think that's it for our first meeting. Thank you everyone so much for attending and getting involved in this project. I'm really excited to see where this goes moving forward. I think this is going to be really great.